Hit it.
All right, guys. So let's the debate on the cars at the 2003 Marauder that I posted yesterday, which is one of these. Between that and the '96 Impala that had us in the chokehold in the '90s. I'm gonna tell you why these cars were so popular now and then. Okay, so originally in the late '80s, we didn't really have any large sedans that did anything. Most people drove a bubble Chevy. I think these were introduced in like 1991. So that was really the first really cooler sedan in my age group. At the time, I think they started off with 305s and went to 350s, and then you can get them with the LT1, which is what the '96 Impala has, which a lot of people don't know about the '94 Caprice LS. All right, so what happened is I think '94 was the first year that they offered it. We finally got us a really, really cool full-size sedan because we hadn't had anything since probably the '60s. That was a full-size car that you could get that had a bunch of horsepower. At the time, these '94 Impalas had LT1s in it, which is the same motor that you would have found in that Camaro, the Camaro, the Corvette. So it was a large sedan that would have had a bunch of horsepower at the time. But a bunch of horsepower in 1996 or between '94 and '96 was 235 horsepower. It wasn't what you see today in Scat Packs and 392s, but this was the 1990s version of a Scat Pack. It was the one it was probably like a 1990s version of a Hellcat, if you put it into that kind of retrospect. And that's why the '96 Impala, a '94, '96 Impala is so near and dear to the heart to a lot of collectors. That being said, Ford decided in 2003 to give a run at it. What they did is they used their same popular body style, which was a Crown Victoria and a Grand Marquis, and made a Mercury Marauder. So this one is probably 300 horsepower, whereas the '96 Impala was 235 horsepower. That's why I try to tell people these cars will take an Impala and run it in the dirt. But that being said, you got to look at it in perspective. This car came out in 2003, which is a full almost 10 years after the platform was introduced at General Motors. So it's not apples to apples. But that being said, this was the next car that the torch was passed to. It was a Mercury Marauder. So '03 and '04, they came in 3 colors in '03, just like they did with the '96 Impala. It was black, silver birch, and blueberry, which is really the rarest one that you could get. In '04, you had silver birch, DTR, which is dark Torador red, blue, and I think the black one was the fourth one. But these cars use a Mach 1 Cobra motor in them. Mach 1 Cobra motor in them. So they had a bunch of horsepower. The torque on those two cars are about the same, but apples to apples, that Marauder will leave that Impala sitting still. But it's not the same technology. So I want y'all to understand that after '03 and '04, there's a company that you may have heard of called Dodge Daimler Chrysler that introduced to you guys the Dodge Magnum and the Dodge Charger, and then so forth and so forth. So that's why you guys love those Scat Packs and all that stuff now, because they give you a bunch of horsepower relative to what you had at the time. But these 1996 Impalas were our Scat Packs, our Hellcats. So I hope that answers the question to you guys of why the Marauder is a really popular car, where it stands in kind of urban history, how we looked at it in the neighborhood, and why the '96 Impalas are really, really, really cool. That being said, that girl has 8,000 miles on it, and she's about to go on the subscription page for my subscribers. Later.